The clock ran out on the game, the season, and bowl eligibility as Iowa kicked the last-second field goal to beat Nebraska 13-10 on Friday. With Matt Rhule's first season coming to a close and Husker fans coping with their 7th straight bowl-less year, how will this coaching staff approach the offseason? Tonight, we break down the loss to Iowa and discuss its effects on the program with our special guest, Brian Christopherson. Sean Callahan will also update us on recruiting. All that and more next on Big Red Wrap-Up. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Severe, and welcome to Big Red Wrap-Up on Nebraska Public Media. The season's over, but we have a lot to talk about, mainly looking ahead to next year. But before we do that, we're joined by Jay Moore and Sean Callahan, of course, as a former Husker that went to bowl games and missed a bowl game. And what's that feeling like after a game knowing that that's it, the season's over?
Not going to a bowl game or after the bowl game?
Not going to a bowl game. 04.
04, experienced it once. And that was the first one, I think, in 40-some years?
36 years.
36 years. I knew it was close.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
Game, though,
it was just, it was...
only one game.
Yeah, it was just, it hit you a little bit. And it wasn't fun either because Callahan had us, I think we got a couple days off, maybe a week off, and we were back in lifting and conditioning. We were running and lifting and paying the price and getting us ready. So it's not a fun situation. And obviously this is the 7th year in a row that this team has missed a bowl game, and it was right there. It was right there for the taking. You go undefeated in October, you're 5-3, you have 4 very, very winnable games, and you fail to get one. And I know we'll discuss all the, the fine details of what happened and why that is, but it's still very disappointing as a former player and a fan that they just could not find one win in November, and they got to figure it out obviously rather quickly.
I'm going to give you the toughest question to start off with.
Oh gosh.
Was this season a success?
I mean, I think it's so pronged. I mean, but you'd probably say no. I mean,
because they got the 5-3.
You wanted to see some advancement, like get to a place they hadn't been.
Yeah.
The schedule they had was manageable, but when it was all said and done, they were still only favorites in 5 of their 12 games on the final point spreads.
Right, final, yep.
So it wasn't like they were picked necessarily to win a lot of these games, but 7 of their 9 Big Ten games, the spread was 1 to 7 points. So as we know, watching those games every week, they were all really tight. But 3 13-10 losses, all by last-second field goals. Minnesota, one of those. Minnesota coincidentally gets that final bowl spot at 5-7.
APR.
I mean, you could just see Nebraska. They're on the cliff, hanging in Minnesota. That game, week 1, was the difference of the last bowl spot, and that's where Nebraska is trying to get this program to take that next step forward that they haven't been able to take in a long time.
Jay, I always talk about, and this is something Coach Rhule talks about there, you're very close, right? You got to get 1 second better. You got to get 1 point better. I looked at this from last year and looked at their red zone offense. Last year in the red zone, they scored 5.47 points every attempt. This year, they only average 4 points an attempt. So that's 1.4 difference. That's a total of 17 points. They lost those games by 19 points. So if you score just what you did last year in the red zone, you probably win 1, 2, or 3 more games. It's this close. It's this close.
I mean, you just think about it, too. You look back to the Minnesota game, obviously, the interception before half.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You look to...
The fumble.
The fumble. The
Grant fumble.
Anthony Grant fumble, yeah.
Or even...
The Sims pick.
Or even, in the fact that the Gabe Urban run, that probably should have been called a touchdown, that wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
That could be factors. That's that close. Then you look at the Maryland game, obviously, and not getting points and getting a turnover in that situation at the end of the game.
Yep.
Obviously, the Wisconsin scenarios, the
Michigan.
I mean, all of them. You can just look at all of them, and that's a little bit. That's part of it is not having the correct Jimmys and Joes right now, but part of it is also the X and O's. Like, put your guys in a position to win the football games. And I'm talking mainly the one that sticks out to me is the Maryland game. And I still can't understand that play call at the end of that game. So it's very, when you get to this level, and obviously when you're playing, you're not where you want to be talent-wise, and you're playing Big Ten caliber teams that are still well coached and very disciplined football teams. You can't be. All it takes is a little bit. and you're going to lose football games. And we've experienced that more than any program, I think, in the last 7 years.
No doubt about that. We have a lot to talk about tonight. We can't do it without your help. Connect with us and help guide our conversation. Our call room is up and running, manned by our sports intern, Hannah, and students from the University of Nebraska's College of Journalism. Hey, guys. Hello. How you doing? They join us throughout the season enjoying Valentino's Pizza and taking your phone calls. You can also text, email us your questions. Go to bigred@nebraskapublicmedia.org, or even share your thoughts on our Big Red Wrap-Up social media accounts. We'll do our best to get as many of those questions answered as we can tonight. In last week's Sideline Survey, we asked you, what was the biggest letdown against Wisconsin? Based on your votes, special teams was there with 45% of the vote. If you didn't vote last week, this week's Sideline Survey is brand new for you. How do you feel about 7 straight seasons with no bowl? None of these answers have a curse word in it. There's a problem with that. Game sad, mad, confused, or optimistic about next year. Right now, it's sad and mad, 35 and 31. I have more to add to that one. With that, let's jump to the highlights and talk about just how close this game was in terms of getting Nebraska a win. By the way, the trophy was broken after the game. They had to repair it after the game.
Right?
The bottom broke off and they had to fix it. We start off with the MVP of Iowa's season, Tory Taylor, with a great punt. And Ethan Nation, who we've all been waiting to return, returns, takes a big shot. It was kind of it was with the crown of the helmet, but hit him on the head. He drops the ball.
Had the ball in his right hand, though.
He had the ball in the right hand. Got to keep it towards the sideline for sure. Missed tackling was the key to this game, I thought, especially in the first half.
Yeah, I think the tackling was good early on in the season. They struggled late in the year. And I think you look at the Purdue game as kind of when it got a little leaky. But again, the defense just found opportunities to make stops when they needed to in the middle of this game.
You get this block here by Ty Robinson. And remember, they made the field goal, but it was delay a game, so they had to kick it a second time, and it gets blocked. This is Brian Bushine, who had a much better game this week, by the way. Had a 1 down to 1, had 1 at the 10. This was a good punt as well, but again, missed tackling. And then you have this late hit. And his 1 foot's in bounds, 1 foot's out of bounds. That shouldn't be.
15 yards to Iowa is you can't do it.
Obviously, it's a first down and a half, but that was Garrett Snodgrass that called for that. We move to the second quarter. Surprising, it's 0-0. Not a surprise. And this is another example. Somebody next to me was yelling, push him out of bounds. Push him out of bounds. I'm like, yes, push him out of bounds. This is a great play by Deacon Hill for the touchdown, though. He reaches out as he is in the pile and gets the touchdown. 7-0 Iowa. It was really close, but he definitely got his hand out over the line.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. It's one of those situations like this play here, a fumble could happen, and it just, he did a good job of hanging on to it.
And Brock Purdy tried, it seemed, to kind of lateral it forward, but it was knocked out of his hand before that.
Chubba,
excuse me. I called him his brother's name.
You take Brock right now.
There's no doubt. Deacon Hill, who is 260 pounds, rushes for 8 yards. Not his longest run of the year. He had a 12-yarder earlier. Here's again, more missed tackling, getting him all the way down to the 7-yard line. But here comes the defense again, gets a stop, forces a field goal. Now it's 10-0. Right now, I think most people in the press box in the stands are thinking Nebraska's in trouble.
They are. It will just felt like if Iowa gets one more score, either a field goal or a touchdown, this thing's over.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden, you get Jalen Lloyd over top. And just, again, another big play out of the offense that they just seem to find ways to get it done.
Think how good he's going to be. He really didn't play much wide receiver his first couple years at Central.
3 50-plus yard catches. Only Marvin Harrison Jr. in the Big Ten did that, other than Jalen Lloyd.
That's crazy. And again, a guy who didn't play a ton of receiver until his senior year at Westside. Caleb Johnson with some good runs here. 4 and 2 were kind of going back and forth with running Johnson and Williams, and this always happens. Every game down the stretch for Iowa, they have one big run. This one's 53.
Yeah, the split zone. Nebraska struggled with the split zone concept there, just kind of attacking those A-gaps. But again here, I think Nash this time gets his hand on it. And I mean, in a game, close games, Iowa's special teams always shows up. But argument just said, I mean, Nebraska's special teams, other than the fumbled punt, honestly outperformed Iowa's special teams on Friday.
Last time 2 blocked field goals in a game, Jay was playing in 2005 against Pittsburgh. Anthony Grant, 4 carries, 4 yards. That was it on the day. That's just, from where he was early in the season, that's crazy to think about. Here's a great catch. Emmett Johnson gets a first down, and then after that, going to Josh Fleeks, who makes a good catch here, gets a nice run. You saw Nebraska and Chubba Purdy starting to kind of get in a routine and a rhythm. You could really see it happening.
Yeah, he threw some really good third down balls in this game.
Yeah, that was 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 11 back-to-back. And then Tristan Ovano hits that field goal from 44 yards to tie it at 10. Nebraska's right back in it. And then Chubba Purdy, who made 2 really good throws to Alex Bullock. Both of them were similar to this. They both were on outs, got the ball down there, made good throws. He kind of got going, had a pretty good day overall. And on the run, surprises me sometimes how good of a thrower he is on the run.
His execution and rhythm of the offense, I mean, it looked the best in the passing game that we had seen all year.
No doubt about that. Tristan Alvano pulls that one. That would have made it 13-10. But back comes Nebraska's defense again. Deacon Hill makes a really ill-advised throw. Tommy Hill gets the interception.
Near sideline Tommy.
Yeah.
Near sideline Tommy.
He's going to run that ball all the way back to the 38-yard line. That's where Nebraska would have been with about 30-some seconds left. He'd have been down to 38. But instead, you see the hole on Taman Lydom right there. It was kind of a holding. It goes back to the 45 of Iowa. And nice 3-yard run by Chubba, getting out of the grasp, getting out of bounds, stopping the clock at 23 seconds. And then this throw. I know you're going to break it down later.
Yeah, and just before that, too, they had to take a timeout and burn it. And they were just discombobulated with the play call and how they were set up. And just, I'll break it down. It's just a simple little zone blitz, and he just didn't see him. He saw the blitzer come up the middle and then did not see the edge guy dropping.
Nebraska giving up 22 total yards rushing in the second half before that 22-yard run right there that sets up the field goal. They bring in a guy who's never kicked before. Meter makes the field goal, barely gets it over the crossbar. Matter of fact, some fans in that end zone were cheering because they thought he'd missed it.
I thought he missed it. I was at home watching it on TV, and I thought it was short. I mean,
yeah, that's what it looked like to me. Yeah, 13-10 final, another 13-10 final. Iowa did a great job rushing the ball, one of the best rushing performances besides Michigan against Nebraska. But Nebraska passed for 189 yards, and then that line again, 3 turnovers for Nebraska, only 1 for Iowa. You see the 6 points over the turnovers, obviously, made the difference in the game. Our players of the game this week are 2 big guys in the middle who both should have been on all Big Ten teams, Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmacher. Dominant performances by both of them, and they each got their first block field goals of their career. In fact, as we mentioned earlier, Friday's matchup against Iowa was the first time Nebraska had 2 block field goals in a game since 2005 when Nebraska beat Pittsburgh 7-6. You remember that game pretty well.
Yeah, I remember really well.
Yeah.
That was, we played Pitt at Pitt in 04-1.
Yep.
And then Dave Wanstead's team comes down, and we played really well defensively. I think Tyler Palko was a quarterback.
Yeah.
Of
Joe Flacco was on those teams too.
Yeah, I think Flacco was on the team previous.
Before he transferred to Delaware.
Before he transferred to Delaware. He's not on the 05 team. He had already transferred. But yeah, I mean, that was a very Big Ten West football game that day.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Taylor scored on a 4th and goal. Like it was like he ran it. It was like probably one of the only rushing
touchdowns he had.
I don't remember that play.
And it looked like slow motion. He was like,
oh yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about guys who kind of run in slow motion, but they were really good this year. Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmacher had great years. Those were the kind of performances that should be a second team All Big Ten, at least a third team All Big Ten, don't you think?
Surprisingly, yeah. I mean, you have a defense that was top 15 nationally. I think they finished 13th or 14th overall, but definitely top 15. You'd think was much success they had and how this defense, it just kind of shows you how much the win-loss column has an effect, but also shows you, I think there's a lot of good talent too in the Big Ten.
There is.
I mean, Michigan has some straight dudes up front. Ohio State's really good. Penn State has some guys. But I was very, very surprised. But those 2 guys, getting Nash, having Nash coming back, and obviously having Ty coming back, you'd think it's going to set up very, very, very well to have this continued success with this defense in the 2024 season.
I was a voter this year for the All Big Ten teams, and what you do, you pick 12 defensive linemen, rank them 1 through 12, 12 defensive backs, 9 linebackers. So you had to kind of determine where those guys fell. I can say I had Robinson on there. I mean, but it's tough when you start to go through the metrics of 14 teams, and Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State had a lot of star power. I mean, they had 7 of the 11 each on the first team alone.
Right.
And then you had Newton and you had Nubbin and some guys that were just no-brainers, and DeJean from Iowa. So it's this defense in this league is really hard to make All Big Ten, as you guys know.
Let's talk about clock management and decisions made. You mentioned earlier Billy Kemp's out, so you have a backup wide receiver, miscommunication, you have to call a timeout. But it's not just that time. We've seen that a number of times with whether you call a timeout, whether you go fast, whether you go slow. It really reminded me a lot of Mike Riley's first year.
I think that if you want to focus just on the Iowa game, obviously that burn timeout there on that last drive. But going back to, I'm pretty sure it was in the fourth. It was in the fourth quarter, but the decision to kick a field goal, a 60-yard field goal, and then
it was going to be a fake.
Apparently, it's going to be a fake, which
And it was, from what I was told. I mean,
What kind of fake?
I mean, I don't.
Were they going to pooch punt it? Is that what we're talking about? Or
no,
they actually were
going
to try to get a first down?
Don't you think Iowa would have kept their defense on?
You're not
the
even
field?
rushing.
They would have gone field goal safe.
You're not even, in my opinion, you're not even rushing because you're like, oh, if you make a 60-yarder into a win into the cold, good for you. We'll give it to you. But we're not allowing you to run a fake. If you want to pooch it, great. But just that type of situation and decision making and you burn a timeout.
Yeah.
If not, here's my thing is in that situation. Why burn a timeout?
Just take the
delay and punt it.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So I just the discombobulation. It just seems. And I know it's more evident and it hurts more and it gets discussed more in close games. But when like we've discussed with this team where they're at with injuries and talent and so on and so forth, you cannot mess up in game situations, in game management. Yeah. And this happened. It was very apparent that they just weren't on the same page as a staff in game management, in these last 4 games.
Yeah, we're showing some of a decade of disappointment. A lot of Iowa wins in there, only a couple Nebraska wins. If you think about it, you go back to 2014, Bo Pelini's last game as a coach. They rally. Kenny Bell makes that touchdown catch in the end zone in overtime. You win that game. And at that point, you're feeling pretty good about the way you're playing Iowa. And then you look in that stretch, so many close wins, so many close losses. 2016, that 40-10, that was tough there at Iowa State.
Well, when it first started, it didn't feel like a rivalry because Nebraska had control of the series.
Yes.
They won 3 out of 4,
Yep.
and Nebraska didn't. Like, I interviewed John Papuchis this summer for something about that, and he said we didn't consider them a rival. We were a better program than they were. We didn't look at it that way, and it just flipped. And it goes back to when Sean Eichhorst discredited the win after he fired Bo Pelini. That I couldn't put any stock in Nebraska beating Iowa because of where Iowa was as a program. Well, that motivated the Ferentzes, changed Ferentz, who he was as a coach, and they've been a different program since. Really, those comments by Sean Eichhorst years ago.
When you start looking ahead at what Nebraska needs to do, I know the Big Ten's going to change. You're bringing in the West Coast teams, but should the target be, let's play like Iowa, maybe with a little bit better offense? Because they're great in special teams every year, and they've been really good in defense.
Listen, I don't have any issue. I think to get to the next level, I think the offense has to be a little more dynamic. But you got to start somewhere, right? You got to learn to win football games. And I know you're trying to implement an offense we want to do, but to a part of it is what's the most important thing is the wins and loss column.
Yeah.
In this team, in all the close losses we've had, they have not figured it out. And you have to somehow get these players confidence to understand how to operate and think mentally in close game, end-of-game situations. Because all they know right now is how to lose them. I mean, they've rarely won any of these close games. So it'd be nice to say, hey, we're going to punt this. Hey, we're going to take a delay game instead of call a timeout and punt it. Hey, we're going to maybe run the football in certain situations and take field goals and certain things like that. So it's just an interesting situation. To me, in this first year, it almost felt like this staff was playing with house money. They know, like, hey, yeah, we want to win, but if we don't, it's okay. It's year one, and that. And I could be, that's me voicing frustration, but I don't think it, and I could be far off, but it just seems for a staff and with Matt Rule and being around football as long as he has, it just makes you scratch your head a little bit and just think why. But then you also look at his first year stats in one loss games. He wasn't very successful in those times either.
Yeah, let's pick one of these 3 because these have been in the DNA of Nebraska. It's the turnovers. It's a special teams issue, especially when it comes to returns, and then it's turnovers, right? It's a decade-long turnover problem. Which one do you think they have a better chance to turn around?
Oh, man. I think special teams is on its way already, so I think that will be fine long term. But the turnover situation, I don't know if you can just make that better. I mean, how much better can you improve that? Because it's been a constant trend for Nebraska football. Can you improve the quarterback decision-making and some of the things? Because the number of turnovers that we saw from the quarterbacks, what was it, 24?
24, 31 total, 24 by the quarterback position.
So 20, I would love to know, it's possible to figure this out in the history of college football, where that ranks, because that's got to be one of the worst quarterback stats I've ever heard.
I can tell you it ranks with all of the military academies, because you have lots of years where Navy and Army would have a bunch of fumbles because of what they run. Exactly. You don't normally see it outside of the military academies. But if you notice, the weird thing about it is that there were a lot of fumbles early, But at the end, interceptions overtook it. There were 16 interceptions and 15 fumbles. That kind of surprised me as I looked at it. That many interceptions happening over the second half of the season.
Because it got harder to run the ball. I mean, against Iowa, Nebraska had a hard time, so they're throwing. They have to push it down the field more and to move the ball. And I think as the defense is stiffened in the colder weather in the Big Ten, the runs were a lot harder, and the quarterback run game only got them so far before Haarberg got hurt.
Right, and then part of it is the defense, there was zero respect.
Right.
To the pass, the passes. Like if you're going to let a team, you're going to do one thing, we're going to make sure they're going to stop the run. And I think you saw after a couple of weeks of Haarberg in the run game, the defense has kind of started to figure it out. They kind of got, they got it,
he
a
started
better,
thinking a little bit too much.
Correct. And then it's like, we'll let them beat us with the pass. And even I think Nebraska had wide receivers open a majority time of the year, but these quarterbacks still struggle to find them.
Yeah, we talk a lot about that, how many guys are open. Let's get into the portal, though. And I know this is a tough question because there's a lot going on, but is quarterback the most important? Is it offensive line? Is it finding a veteran wide receiver to go with these young kids? You got to go find a running back? I mean, where do you start?
Well, the portal opens officially for traditional players Monday, December 4th. This week, coaches around the country, Monday through Thursday, are meeting with their team. Coaches can go on the road starting Friday for recruiting. So it's a very busy week in the offices for all college football teams. But I do think quarterback has to be a discussion point. It's got to be the right guy, though. I mean, they picked the wrong guy last year, and it didn't work out. And if you invest and go after a big quarterback and it doesn't work out, then you're in a situation like we saw Nebraska was in, where they had to kind of move a lot of things around, and they didn't really have a great quarterback competition. So can you get a quarterback in and say, all right, you got to compete, though, and beat out Chubba Purdy, beat out Heinrich Haarberg to be the guy? I mean, will that be an easy sell to a guy out there in the portal?
Did they sell enough to you what Chubba did? By the way, I believe all three of his starts ended his last throw with an interception.
Correct, they did. Yep.
So did Chubba Purdy show you enough, or did Heinrich Haarberg show you enough that whereas it is a quarterback competition if you bring somebody in off the portal?
I think they're both viable backups.
Backups.
In the future.
Okay.
I think Chubba showed some good things game management wise, but I just at this level now where we're getting in college football, and it's becoming closer and closer to NFL type of style of football, quarterback matters. You have to have an absolute dude that handles the ball every single play. And I don't think that he needs to be an elite arm talent or runner or anything like that. He's got to have an elite mind.
Carson Beck, Georgia.
Yeah.
He's not an elite athlete.
You have to have an elite mind, and you have to understand. You have to be calm. You can't, turning the football over is not a concern. I think when you get to a certain situation, these quarterbacks and things get moving so fast, they forget what to do with the football and how to manage a game. And I think you have to have a guy with an elite mind, and I think that's just what we've missed. And no, and it's not Haarberg, young quarterback, not his fault. I think over time he can develop that. Chubba Purdy hasn't played a ton. Was hurt. I think he can develop that. Jeff Sims, I think he's a lost cause. I think he's damaged mentally, and with all the turnovers he's had here and at Georgia Tech. So I think, in my opinion, QB is number one. Yeah. And I think we don't get enough credit to how well the O-line kind of performed at the back half of this
another
room.
one. I think that they have to get kind of an alpha wide receiver.
Yeah, and they're out there. Those are the ones you can find.
And maybe the JUCO guy coming in.
He's not going to visit right now because he may not get out in January. So I don't know if Damon Demis is now really in play. It could change, but if he can't get here in January, it's really hard to take any transfer JUCO guy, in my opinion.
You have to find a wide receiver for sure. Now we toss to Ian Vosberg to tell us more about your part in making Nebraska Public Media sports programming possible.
Hey everyone, I'm excited to be here with the Big Red Wrap-Up team. Nebraska Public Media is Nebraska's home for sports, and this program is one of the big reasons why. Another season for the Huskers has come to a close, and it's been an eventful and newsworthy season. It's never been more important to watch Big Red Wrap-Up to stay informed on what's happening with our favorite football team. During our fall membership drive, right now is a great time to show your appreciation for what you've gained from Big Red Wrap-Up this year. Those who support Nebraska Public Media with financial contributions make programs like this happen. Thank you for becoming a member or renewing your membership. You do that by calling 800-989-8236 or going online to nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate. And when you donate, you can choose from one of these great thank you gifts. When you give $25 a month as a Sustaining Star member, that's $300 with a one-time gift, we'll thank you with a Nebraska football signed by Tom Osborne. Coach Osborne led the Nebraska football team as head coach for 25 seasons, winning 3 national titles. Osborne's legacy extends beyond the game of football, but football is where he became a household name in Nebraska. Again, that's a commemorative football signed by Tom Osborne. Or when you make your donation of $5 a month as a Sustaining Star member, we'll thank you with the Clear Tote Bag. This Clear Tote Bag meets stadium requirements, has 24-inch handles, and has a zipper top. Of course, it has that Nebraska Public Media logo on it as well. That's available with a $5 a month donation when you call 800-989-8236 or online nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate. Nebraska Public Media brings us all together through exciting sports coverage, quality entertainment, and by delivering local and national news that keeps us informed about the latest events that are shaping our lives. Your support of quality programming on Nebraska Public Media also gives you access to an incredible members-only library. That's PBS Passport. Programs include Nature, Nova, Finding Your Roots, and you'll find locally produced programming too. Make your donation of $5 a month or more, show your support, and get the member benefit of PBS Passport. Make your donation at nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate or call 800-989-8236. When you're making that donation, you can make a donation of $25 a month, and we'll thank you with the Nebraska football signed by Tom Osborne. Of course, Coach Osborne was the coach that led Nebraska to 3 national titles. It's a commemorative football signed by Tom Osborne. When you make a donation of $5 a month as a Sustaining Star member, that's $60 with a one-time gift, we'll thank you with the Clear Tote Bag. It meets the stadium requirements for the Clear Bag policy and has that Nebraska Public Media logo on it. Give us a call to make your donation at 800-989-8236 or online nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate. Wherever in Nebraska you call home, make the reasons you watch the reasons you give. You can be part of the Nebraska Public Media Sports Partners Club. You'll be supporting our coverage of Husker sports and high school action like the recent volleyball and football state championships. Call 800-989-8236 or go online nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate. All programming on Nebraska Public Media happens because of ongoing viewer support. Thanks to those calling in right now and renewing memberships, becoming Sustaining Stars, or increasing annual gifts. Your support is important in helping us do what we do. We understand not everyone can donate a large amount, but anything you give is important and shows you value the programs and services on Nebraska Public Media. Make your donation right now, nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate, and thank you so much for your support.
All right, welcome back to Big Red Wrap-Up. We're going to look at this play where Iowa's pinned back deep again in their own territory. I'll highlight Jabari Butler up top here. He's in a 6 technique, head up on the tight end. He does a really good job. He's out of place, but fights his way back into the C gap, that's his job. But as we see here, I don't know how he gets us off in this situation. I mean, things could have gone any sort of way here, but they catch it. But as I see here, he was outside of his gap. You had 2 guys in the D gap initially. I jumped forward just a quick second, but he does a really good job at what I call playing with violent physical hands. That left hand, the gap hand, is the most important in the situation. He's able to get himself back inside and into the C gap to actually make a play. Now, if he doesn't, he has some help inside, but I just saw that, and it's just really, really good 6 technique handwork from a defensive end that played a lot. So we had to hit that. So now, if you have a squeamish stomach, you can turn away. This is the pick of towards the end of the game here. So Iowa's just going to do a simple zone blitz here. They're going to bring the linebacker and drop this guy into the hole, kind of replace the linebacker. It's really not that complicated. You're still only bringing 4 in this situation, but this gives Purdy the illusion that they are bringing pressure. There are more guys coming. So what do you think in that situation? Get rid of the ball quick. So as we hit this play here, you see him. Emmett Johnson does a really good job of picking him up in protection. He has a good pocket. If we could have, you can't see on the back end here, Jalen Lloyd's coming open on a little post route, but he just zones in here. You can see. I'm not quite sure if he thought he could get it over the end, but he's looking right at him, and unfortunately, throws it right to him. the guy makes a really good play here, makes a good catch, and ends the game.
What that reminds me of is sometimes when you're driving in an intersection and there'll be a light in front of you that you're looking at, and you're thinking, and you almost run a red light because you're looking. He was just looking ahead.
Yeah.
And he was looking for the guy he thought that would be open.
Done that many times.
Yeah. And by the way, if he doesn't hit the defender, he hits the umpire. The umpire's standing right there too. So one of those two people would have been hit by the ball for sure. But it's tough. Like you mentioned, Jalen Lloyd out there.
He was coming open.
We now welcome in our guest for the night, Husker 24/7 senior writer Brian Christopherson. Thanks for being here, BC. We appreciate it.
Yeah, one of these days it'll be after a win.
Have you ever come on after a win?
Remember the year Bo Pelini won at Penn State, and it was the Paterno year.
Sure, 2011.
Fiasco.
2011, yeah.
That was the last time.
That was the last time
after a win.
We're showing our age here, Brian.
Oh, my goodness. That's a long time ago. Now I'm sad. When Nebraska got the interception, Tommy Hill gets the interception.
Yes.
Your thoughts? At that moment, when he gets the pick and he's running back, what'd you think?
Immediate buzzkill because of the Lynham hold.
Yeah.
And it was late. That's sort of the way it is with Husker football. It's like, oh, there's that moment. There it is. Maybe they have it. And then you see the flag, and I realized, okay, they're going to have to cover about 25, 30 yards here. It'd been kind of tough sledding. Ivano had obviously missed the kick earlier. I kind of go back to that sequence beforehand, though, where Nebraska gets down to the 25-yard line with about 6-7 minutes left, whatever it was, and you get the false start, right away there, and it sort of forced a weird down and distance, and you end up having a freshman kicker taking a tricky, 44, 45-yarder there. So I think it's been very difficult for this fan base because you've had 3 games in a row where the plate's right in front of you with drives in the last few minutes, and you just can't capitalize.
Brian, we'll hear from Matt Rule on Wednesday for the final time this year. What are you curious to find out? I mean, what final questions do you have for Matt Rule as we kind of put a close on this season?
Well, I think he's going to stay pat with his staff, and that's the thing, everybody likes to talk about is like, what do you do with your staff? This is a group that's been together a long time. Certainly there's questions about, do you want to do anything differently there, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to talk a lot about development and building, and he sort of did that after the game, and everybody's going to want to get to the conversation about the portal and what can you get out there and how much you want to attack that and the quarterback conversation. But I think he's going to talk a lot about, I believe in these guys that we have. There are young players on this roster. We just got to build them up. And as he sort of said on his show the other night, he thinks, they got to get 4 or 5 points better. He's not going to be a guy who's going to just dramatically change the course. And so I expect him to really say we're going to stay pat here. We're just going to keep working and put our head down and get a little bit better. And we think that's going to take us where we need to go.
BC, looking at the defense, obviously how they finished nationally, top 15 type of defense, much improved with Tony White. But interesting enough, they were really good in October.
Yeah.
In a Northwestern game, the Illinois, Purdue. It got a little leaky against Purdue, but then in November, they were still good at times. The field goal blocks, the 4th down stops against Wisconsin. But when they needed to make a play to help this team go over the hump, they just couldn't quite do it. Is that just asking them to do too much throughout the year and just being on the field too much, or just kind of the same, close games, scoring situation that we've dealt with?
I heard you say earlier you felt the tackling maybe fell off just a bit, and I would agree with that. I was so impressed in September and October with how this team tackled, and it didn't feel like there were many leaky yards or extra yards, and I felt like some of that popped up late in the season. I don't know if it's because guys were dinged up and maybe you had some guys in different spots that you didn't have earlier in the year, but like the last run of the game for Iowa is an example of that, where when that play starts, you're thinking they're going to shut this down for about 2 yards. I don't know if it was Gifford or a couple guys had a shot at him. Ends up being a 22-yard play that hadn't really happened all half. They'd played a brilliant second half. And that's what's frustrating, I think, for this fan base is that it feels like even when stuff's going really well on one side of the ball, there's always that one play at the worst possible time that seems to pop up, and somehow you've got to get over that hump. And it's the test that this program's been facing for a while and is going to have to prove they can pass here in 24.
Now, it was a 22-yard run. They'd had 22 yards given up the entire second half. We're talking about just a couple more points. They were 128th in the country in red zone attempts per game, and points per red zone attempt.
Yeah.
That's the spot. You have to be better at finishing drives. We talked about it with Matt Rule before the season started, right here on Big Red Wrap-Up. You've got to be able to finish when you get in the red zone.
Yep. I believe their touchdown percentage in the red zone was 48.
Yeah.
And that ranked like 115th, 120th. And if you look at all the offensive stats, they're basically in that area, 115th, 120th. On the other side, you've got the defense where their red zone defense touchdown percentage was top 10. So, I mean, you see the contrast from one side of the ball to the other. But you're right, Michael. I mean, it's in this league, all these games are going to come down to 3-4 points. This is like the NFL now.
Yeah.
When you have those moments, you have to capitalize. You don't have to be the flashiest offense in the world, but you have to be an opportunistic one. And that's where they really failed this year. And obviously, Tristan Alvano's a young kicker, but if he can get it going as he goes further into his career, hits at a higher percentage, that might flip a game or two as well.
Brian, Tony White was up for some jobs. We now know Syracuse is looking to hire Fran Brown, who actually worked for Matt Rule. And then you have Sean Lewis looking like he's the next guy at San Diego State, who was at Colorado before that. What were your thoughts on Tony White maybe being a candidate for some of these jobs out there?
I think he is a great head coaching candidate, as Matt Rule said, because, I mean, Sean, when he talks to us, you see it. Like, he's got all those traits of a head coach. He's just so in control of the room and, like, what he wants to say and his messaging. And really, from when he got here, he had those guys believing in what he was doing. And I think we sometimes need to track back to, like, August. And if we had said, hey, they're going to be like a top 10 rushing defense.
Right.
They're going to be a top 10 red zone touchdown percentage defense. Top 10, actually, if you go by yards per pass attempt, they're top 10 in that. They were number 9 or 10. So, I mean, like 4 or 5 of the main stats that you would look at, they're among the best in the country. And I know they didn't face the best offenses in the world. That can always get thrown into the conversation. But for a first year and a new scheme, I know they weren't quite as good the last month, but you have to say, I think it's an AA- performance by that defense this year.
When you look back, though, at this season, you're sitting up here in a few years after you come on after a win. You look back at this season and you think, Michigan was the only team, though, that really legitimately you could say they should have lost to. Is it not one of the easiest schedules that Nebraska's seen in 25 years?
Yeah, and that's why people are pretty bummed out right now. I mean, this is a savvy fan base. They see what's ahead. They know what's coming into the league. It's going to get more challenging. And they really had it set up in November when we got, the end of October, and this team's sitting 5-3. You're like, there's no way they're not going to get one of these wins, and you're on the doorstep in every one of those games. So I understand where Matt Rule and his staff are like, hey, this is year one, patience.
Sure.
But also, you're coming into a place that's...
It's not year one for us.
No, it's year 7 for us. And so whatever sins of the past or whatever's been said to try to explain failures of the past, if you sort of repeat the same thing now in a postgame, which occasionally happens, people say, well, I've heard that from 4 years. That's what they're dealing with now. So it's going into year 2, but in a way it's not with how this fan base views everything.
Yeah, most definitely. I think when you're with the close games and you're not at full strength offensively, you have to be very good at in-game management. That's play calling and clock management. For Matt Rule and this staff, and this isn't their first rodeo. It's not like he's a first-year head coach. He's done it at NFL and successfully at other college places. Surprised with some of these in-game situations that they mismanaged in year one?
I was, yeah. I mean, beating a dead horse, but Wisconsin, we're just sitting up on the ramp that we couldn't get on the field for that one and the way they do things.
Right.
But, I'm saying, like, why are they not going to maximize their plays here? I mean,
call a timeout.
Yeah, it was just one of those deals where you can't believe that they left 2 plays on. You could have run the ball on first and second down and with the time as it was, and they messed up. The last game, said earlier, you don't have to take the timeout. I didn't think when your fake or whatever it was supposed to be didn't happen. You could have just taken the delay game. And then obviously the last timeout at the end just before the Chubba Purdy pick. So you kind of add those things up. And I think you have to go evaluate that as a coaching staff and really look at some of these situations, say, if this comes up again, or maybe we go a different route with that. And I know it's easy to always second guess stuff after the fact, but some of that stuff, I think there's people first guessing it too.
Brian, it's only Tuesday, but it's been very quiet on the transfer portal side of the Nebraska roster. Are you expecting things to pick up? I mean, I think as we've learned, all bets are off when it comes to the portal.
Yeah, we're in that day and age where you almost, like, if you talk about a specific player, you almost don't want to, because you never know what's in a guy's head, and
Right.
you could say something, the guy's out the door the next day. So there could be more that's going to happen than I think, and the numbers do have to dwindle a little bit. I mean, they've got a lot on that roster scholarship-wise. Of course, there's ways you can work around that in today's day and age with the NIL and all that stuff. I don't expect a lot of attrition, though. I mean, I think he said last week, if you cut this program open
Good point.
down the middle, he said it's healthy. I kind of am inclined to believe in what he's saying there. I think there's a lot of belief in where it's going. And if you want something to back it up, it's Ty Robinson. It's Ty Robinson staking a 6th year to this thing. Nash coming back. You know, Jamari Butler seems like a guy who wants to come back from what I've seen it from him. You know, stuff like that is encouraging. We'll see what Gifford and Bullock and some of these guys do who walked on senior day. Ben Scott and Bryce Benhart didn't walk.
Yep.
So that would tell you, if a bunch of those guys, we don't see anything from them in the next week or so, and they're coming back, that there is a belief like, hey, behind the scenes, this is better than it used to be.
And even Ramir Johnson and Marcus Washington are even potentially
Trying to
come
figure out a
back
way.
for a 6th year as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
I do think guys in the program would say, if you got the true syrup out, it's better than it was. Like, it just, like, how this is handled and the direction of it. So if people want to be positive despite this tough November, I think that's it, is that there is a feeling from players that this head coach is a little bit more in control than it was.
DC, we appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks,
Always
guys.
enjoy it. Thanks for coming on. Next time you come on, we'll be after a win. I promise you. We toss it back to Ian Vosberg one more time to hear about how you can support Nebraska Public Media programming.
Thank you, Michael. Time is running out on this episode of Big Red Wrap-Up. So give us a call and keep the sports going year-round on Nebraska Public Media. We're in our fall membership drive, which means it's time to remind you that member contributions are what make all the programs you love here possible. We know you are passionate about Husker football, but there's much more. Sports documentaries and journalism, high school sports, and up-close profiles of some of your favorite players. Call now to keep it all going. That number is 800-989-8236 or online, nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate. When you donate, we'll thank you with a gift of $25 a month. We'll thank you with the Nebraska football signed by Tom Osborne. Coach Osborne led the Nebraska football team as head coach for 25 seasons, winning 3 national titles. Osborne's legacy extends beyond football, but that's where he became a household name in Nebraska. Again, that's a commemorative football signed by Tom Osborne. With a donation of $5 a month as a Sustaining Star member, we'll thank you with the Clear Tote Bag. It's perfect for all of those clear bag policy events, has a zipper top, 24-inch handles, and the Nebraska Public Media logo on it. Make your donation at 800-989-8236 or online, nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate. What part of tonight's show is your favorite? The in-depth look at some of the critical plays versus Iowa, maybe the early outlook about next season. Those come to you because members have called in and made this program possible. Now it's your turn. Call 800-989-8236 or make your donation at nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate. When you donate, we'd love to thank you with one of these thank you gifts. At $25 a month, we'll thank you with the commemorative football signed by Coach Tom Osborne. Of course, Coach Osborne led the Nebraska football team to 3 national titles and became an institution in the state. When you make a donation of $5 a month as a Sustaining Star member, that's $60 with a one-time gift. We'll thank you with the clear tote bag that has a Nebraska Public Media logo on it. Make that donation at 800-989-8236 or go online, nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate. Becoming a Sustaining Star member when you call in, being a Sustaining Star means that you make an ongoing monthly gift of $5, $10, $15, $20 a month, or whatever amount you choose. When you give monthly, you're supporting all the sports on Nebraska Public Media and more. It's really easy to set up so that your donation comes directly out of your checking account or your credit card every single month. Become a sustaining star by visiting us online at nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate or give us a call at 800-989-8236. When you're on our website or when you're making your call to donate, you can choose a thank you gift. At $25 a month, we will thank you with the commemorative Nebraska football signed by Coach Tom Osborne. Coach Osborne, of course, is the leader of the Nebraska football team through one of the greatest periods of Nebraska football history. When you make your donation of $5 a month, we'll thank you with the clear tote bag. Has that zipper top, 24-inch handles, and meets stadium size guidelines. Whether you make a donation of $500, $50, or $15, it all adds up. Make that donation right now at 800-989-8236 or go online to nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate. Your membership provides important funding to keep Big Red Wrap-Up going. Every single donation matters. So whatever you can give, make your donation right now to support this service for all of Nebraska. That number again, 800-989-8236 or online, nebraskapublicmedia.org/donate.
Thanks again, Ian. We appreciate it. Now joining us, sports intern Hannah, to look at some of the best from social media. What did you find this past weekend?
We got a few for you this week.
Okay.
The first one we got up is Nordine surprised his stepdad by wearing his last name for Husker Senior Day. So we got a sweet moment with him and his family.
Surprised his dad and most of the fans saying, "Who is 63?"
Yeah.
Because people couldn't figure out who it was. It's pretty awesome.
And then our next one we got up here is, did you see these two? These
did.
fans
Punts, yes.
got what they wanted. Punts,
Yes.
matching
Punts,
shirts.
Punts every time.
And then our last one we have is Nebraska with that elusive bowl game within reach. And that was early on in the game. Fourth tries the charm.
Matt Schick is always so negative. Always Matt Schick with the negative. I don't know what to do with that guy. Hannah, we appreciate it.
Yes.
All right. Well, of course, catch up with Hannah after each show, again next year, hopefully. We're happy to announce that we have a new winner in our game day photo contest, and this one is a really good one. Pat shared this photo with her and her two grandkids from Texas. They're bundled up at the game, as you'd expect. There was a picture of a letter that granddaughter Belle wrote to the NCAA following the loss. It says, "This was my first Nebraska game. I wanted Nebraska to win, but they didn't. So they didn't get to go to bowl games. So can you help me? If they do not have enough 6-game teams, tell them to bring the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I'm 8 years old. I came from Texas to see this game." What an awesome letter. We love to see it. Thanks for sharing it, Pat. We really appreciate it. Joining us now, Sean Callahan, who has better handwriting than Belle does. No, you do not. Let's talk about recruiting. It starts off with big news.
Yeah, Nebraska tonight, as we were about to begin the show, Grant Brix made it official. He's now a Cornhusker, the #1 player in Iowa by On3, all 4 recruiting services, consensus #1 player, one of the top linemen in the country. He'll come to Nebraska as a tackle. There's some places that think he's a guard. He can play a lot of positions, but this was a long, drawn-out battle.
This is the 18-wheeler kid?
Yes, and they parked the semi-truck out in front of his high school a couple weeks back. But Grant Brix, Logan Magnolia, which is right on the border of Omaha. His mom actually works in Omaha, so this makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
It was just a grind for Nebraska to finish this out, to beat out Oklahoma, Kansas State. At one point, Alabama early was in there in June. And Nick Saban offered him when he went down there for a visit. And Michael, it's not easy to get an Alabama offer.
It is not easy at all, and that's a great pickup by Nebraska. And you see him, he can really develop into the kind of tackle they want to get. Let's go to the phone now. Ian Flint joining us to talk more about his commitment. Ian, how are you doing?
Doing great.
How did everything work out? How did you end up committing to Nebraska?
Most of my family went there, as well as my older sister is currently there. So it's kind of in my blood, but also I really enjoyed Matt Rhule's staff, and they were fun to be around. So I wanted to be around longer.
Ian, I got to ask you, were you aware of Grant Brix's thing ahead of time, or did you find out tonight like everybody else?
I got my connections.
What do you think of this class? I mean, it's a big class. You were one of the first guys on board. What do you like about the group of freshmen that you'll come into Nebraska with?
We got a ton of ball players. I love every single one of them that have chosen to come join us, and a lot of them are Nebraska natives, which I know is good for the good for the team itself, and I'm excited to play with all of them, especially Carter and Grant. I'm happy Grant hopped on.
Ian, such great football played down there in Katy, Texas. How did you guys' season go? How'd you do?
We ended up 5-6. We made it to the playoffs, lost round 1, and I had about 6 receptions for 140 yards.
Ian, you were an immediate priority for the staff. I mean, you were up here right when Matt Rhule was hired, and you were one of the first guys to commit. How did the ball get rolling so quickly? And I mean, and your commitment was seamless. I mean, you've been almost a wire-to-wire guy for Nebraska.
Yeah, they showed a lot of attention to me, and they've been really great to me over my recruitment, and they made the decision really quick or really easy.
Ian, are you planning on being an early entry or coming in the summer?
Yes, sir. I will be there January 6th.
Awesome. Ian, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let's talk about our in-state guy now, Jackson Carpenter.
Yeah, we're going to 2025 here. This is Jackson Carpenter, the son of former Husker tight end Tim Carpenter out of Lincoln Southwest. Just picked up his first Power 5 offer from Kansas and Lance Leipold a couple of weeks ago. He had previously had offers from North Dakota State and South Dakota State, so the two best FCS offers you can have. Gets that first Power 5. He's been invited to go down to Iowa for bowl practice in December. Obviously, he's been to a lot of Nebraska events and games. He's been down to Kansas State, Iowa State. No doubt a guy that's going to garner some attention. His first year of running track this year, he ran 10.8 electronic as a sophomore. He's a legit 6'2". Probably can play receiver or safety.
Where do you think he plays?
That's a question. I mean, I think.
Who's recruiting him? Who's his main guy?
I would say people like him as an athlete with the speed and size, but I still lean. I mean, receiver, he's got great ball skills.
Sure.
I mean, some of his best highlights are when he gets up at the top of the ball and gets it down. And he's a very athletic basketball player. He's going to play with Brandon Frager, who's a Husker commit this year, and Jabba Chamberlain's son Carter's on that team. So it's a pretty star-studded group of athletes on that Lincoln Southwest basketball team, and he'll be right out there with those guys.
Plus, he has great hair. You take that.
I'll take a little.
Sean, we appreciate it. Let's check in now with our sideline survey. How do you feel about 7 straight seasons with no bowl game? 31% of the people say sad, 33% say mad, 28% optimistic about next year, and 8% say confused. What are they confused about? I don't know what they're confused about. It's not a good thing. I am sad. You are mad. You can be optimistic about next year. Nobody on the set is confused, though. Let's look ahead. So we talk a lot about the portal and the way that's handled. Do you feel Nebraska is an appetizing place? Like, this is a school where people will look and say, I want to go there?
It's tough because I would think yes, but just being obviously very close to it and being a fan of, since I can, 4 years old.
Yeah.
I would think so, but removed from afar, it's kind of interesting. You talk to people about Nebraska football, and they're like, man, you guys are just, it's kind of the same old, right? You just struggle winning close games and talent's not quite there and you turn the football over. So I don't know. I think the sell has to be pretty strong by the staff right now. You got to sell potential guys coming back. You got to sell who else you're recruiting. The NIL has to be a very, very big talking point for these guys. But I think from afar, I think they got to get sold on it right now, just because you want to win.
Yeah.
I would think as a player, if someone, if we're talking dollars here, one school is maybe, us and, you call it Penn State. Penn State's maybe 200,000 less in NIL. Would you want to go win games or make $200,000 more? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's just the kind
of who can get me to the league.
Yeah, that's
what I think about.
But so that's another good point. I think we've seen this too is development. I think we've seen that as well with the staff with young players. Is development has been a huge point that I know we've talked about, but I think that's a aspect that I am optimistic about going forward into 2024.
Sean, who's the biggest NIL get so far?
As far as the guys that they've recruited.
That they've had over these 2 years of really where the NIL's been a big deal.
I mean, Trey Palmer.
And he came because of
Mickey, but NIL, they still have to pay him.
Right.
I mean, you can argue O'Shawn and Casey Thompson were big NIL guys that they brought in. This year's crop, though, wasn't really as fruitful
in terms of success
as what they got. I mean, Billy Kemp had an all right year. MJ Sherman was fine at times, but you know, you didn't get like the type of production maybe I think we thought. And then obviously Jeff Sims, probably the highest paid NIL deal that's ever been given, is my guess, with Nebraska. And that just obviously didn't work out for whatever odd reason.
Can they get big name guys to commit to Nebraska?
And so here's the thing, like the market is the market. Like Nebraska will make a competitive market value, their collective, to the guy. Well, when that same player has 3 or 4 market offer values that are within reason, then sometimes it's not about the money. It's about the best fit, who's going to prepare you. Like Will Howard right now at Kansas State, Nebraska, we don't know if they're even involved with him, but On3 reported today, Kentucky, Louisville, you know, all these teams with really good, Washington. So when you have DeBoer and you have Braum, 2 quarterback whisperers saying, hey, I want you to be my next guy. I mean, that's what you're competing against. And there's going to be a ton of quarterbacks in the portal. You only get one opportunity to pick the right one, though, and that's the challenge.
Kind of a turbulent year for the tight end position because you changed coaches. How do you think that went overall?
Would like to see more production of Fedoni, but again, that's just who's throwing to him.
Sure.
That was part of the battle. You know, I think where they got to improve, obviously, as the quarterback position improves and run the football improves, and you can use play action to your advantage, those guys the tight end position will get better. But those Borger and Fedoni, they struggled run blocking. I think they got to improve heavily in that area, because if you can't run block, then obviously you get out there like Welton Office passing situations. So they got to get that. That's one area where Fedoni can definitely improve.
Spring game announced April 27th. Good date for you?
I mean, it's a later spring game. But, you know, the semester at Nebraska doesn't start until January 22nd. I mean, it's the Monday after Martin Luther King Day. Back when Jay and I were in Nebraska, we were going to school the week before that.
Right.
So it's a later start. And that's about as late as you can have the spring game. But the calendar of Nebraska is kind of pushed forward a couple weeks. And for weather, hopefully that means it's a good thing.
No doubt. Burning question.
Burning question, who's the quarterback? Who is the guy that they're going to put their chip on this year? Because obviously that's going to be a defining thing for year 2 of Matt Rule.
I can't use the turnovers anymore. Season's.
It's like, I come up with some new material.
Yeah, the season's over. The quarterback is important. I think right now is off-season development. Getting these guys going to work. I think it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to take some time off toward the end of the semester, or they're going to get them back to work, working out, getting, you know, they got a couple weeks yet before they shut it down. So it'll be interesting to see what Rule and staff gets them doing.
Burning question, obviously, is what happens in the portal. Can Nebraska get offensive lineman, wide receiver, quarterback, whatever they need out of the portal? We have one more episode of Big Red Wrap Up this season, and that's next Tuesday night. Join us as we recap the entire season from Memorial Stadium with our special guests, Mitch Sherman and Stephen M. Sipple. Our thanks to Brian Christopherson, Ian Vosberg, our student volunteers in the call center for joining us tonight. For Jay Moore, Sean Callahan, Hannah the intern, I'm Michael Severe. We'll see you next week right here on Big Red Wrap Up.